Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I cannot believe it's already been an entire month since I last sat down to record something, but here we are. It is officially May, and I want to talk about my reading month of April. So let's jump right into it. In the month of April, I read 39 books, which feels so crazy, but let me remind you that 31 of them were actually novellas because I am doing a bit of a challenge over on my TikTok page where I'm reading 100 novellas in 100 days. I am just about done. I am wrapping up that series, but it's been a exciting challenge to read a novella every single day. So I'm reading about 50 to 150 pages every day. That's been a challenge, but it's honestly been something that I really enjoyed doing. It's pushed me, it's helped me practice reading every single day, which is a goal that I've had for a long time. And so it's been really exciting to do something like that. It's also challenged me to look outside what I normally read and search for novellas, which has brought a lot of new authors to me, new genres, new styles of writing, and just book types that I probably never would have reached for organically. And I really appreciate the challenge that it's given to me. I'm not going to list every single novella here right now because I do plan on doing a big wrap-up video for this channel once I finish this challenge, but I will put some photos of the novellas that I read this month somewhere here. Hopefully it all fits, and you can take a look at the covers of the novellas that I read this month. So let's move into the breakdown of numbers. Now, I did read 31 novellas this month, which leaves 8 books. 6 of those books were arcs because I am trying to raise my NetGalley ratio. It was at one point at a 51 or a 49%, something like that. And that is just abysmal. It's obviously not very good. So I have been going back, requesting new arcs, and making sure I get reviews in for those arcs to hopefully raise my ratio. I also have to go back into books that I previously did not give feedback for, and I'm trying to read them to give feedback for them. It's been a journey, but 6 arcs, so let's talk about those arcs quickly. The first 2 were actually just graphic novels. Now, I am part of the Penguin Teen Canada influencer program. I don't know how I got in there. I'm very lucky to be part of it. But because of that, all of the NetGalley arcs for their middle grade and YA are pretty much available to me auto approval. And so that's where most of these arcs came from. The first one up is a manga that's called I Want to Be Your Girl. This was a graphic novel about a young girl who has a crush on her best friend who has recently come out as a trans girl and deals with some pretty complex topics. I didn't really enjoy this one. I just felt the main character quite obnoxious. She was very loud, very rambunctious, tended to blow up very easily, and it just wasn't something that I particularly enjoyed. I think that the story had some promise, some potential. It just wasn't executed in a way that I enjoyed. However, the art was really beautiful, so it has that going for it. This is sitting at about a 2.5 star for me. It just wasn't something that I enjoyed very much. The second was an arc of Sweet Valley Twins, The New Girl, the graphic novel. My daughter is obsessed with this graphic novel series. I grew up reading the Sweet Valley Twins, and so seeing it come back to life as a graphic novel series is something that's really exciting for me. I read a couple of the graphic novels last year, and then this year I saw this on the ARC list and I requested it because it's just so much fun. And it was very interesting reading this as an adult because I remember reading this story. The thing I like about these graphic novels is that they managed to stay very true to the original work while bringing it to life for a whole new generation. I really liked it. I gave this 5 stars. It was cute, it was adorable, it stayed true to the original material, and the art style is gorgeous. The next on the list was Ride or Die by Delilah Dawson. This story features a young girl. She's in 8th grade and she is new to school, so she's really trying to get in with the popular girls. They're all named Emily, Emma, some variation of that. She's trying to get in with the M's. She miraculously gets invited to the head M's birthday party, which is at a local theme park, and she's really excited to go. When she gets there, she finds out that a tragic accident happened in the theme park about 20 years ago, and there is a section of the park that's completely closed off to the public because of this tragic accident that happened many years ago. And through the night, she comes to realize that the M's aren't all they cracked up to be, and that maybe being a popular girl isn't something she wants. And when a dare goes wrong and she ends up trapped on the bad side of the theme park, things start to go extremely haywire and crazy and insane for the rest of the night. This was really fun. I honestly didn't know what to expect from it. I knew it was going to be a spooky, thrilling sort of thing. It's a bit of a ghost story, and I just really liked this. I thought it was fun. I thought it was really great and like age appropriate. It's like a middle grade type thriller, but I had a good time reading it. It was really well put together. I really enjoyed it. It was spooky in all the right places. I had a little bit of funny parts into it. It's something that I would recommend my daughter reading. I think that she would really enjoy it. So I gave this one 4 stars only because obviously I am not the intended audience for this. It did play a little bit younger than what I would read as on a personal level, but I still thought it was really good. Next up, we have Kill Creatures by Rory Power. Kill Creatures features Nan, and it starts a year after 3 of Nan's best friends went missing, and she's the only surviving friend from the friend group. And at the memorial for these 3 girls, one of them shows up alive. And this shocks Nan to her core because Nan is the one who killed them. And this story unravels Nan's life as she tries to figure out how this person is alive, where they've been for the last year, what they remember, and figuring out if her life is about to fall apart completely because she knows she's the one that killed her. And this was really unexpected. I love this. I thought this was a great little thriller. It had all the elements you want in a thriller. It kept you on the edge of your seat. It was very spooky. It was very unsettling. There was something about being in Nan's head as all of this was happening that honestly left me feeling very unsettled. And as you get to the middle of the story, you start to realize why it's so unsettling. And I think that it's a twist that will surprise you. I honestly did not see the twist coming towards the end of the book. I think it's a great story. I really enjoyed this. It is YA, but it delves into some pretty heavy topics. There is a list of trigger warnings at the end of the book. Definitely check them out first. But I thought this was really well done. I really enjoyed it. Nan was an interesting main character. I don't say that I love her, but it was definitely interesting being in her head versus what was actually happening in the narrative. And I think that it was really well done. I'd really like to read more from Rory, which, interestingly enough, I just picked up a book by Rory the other day at the thrift store. Didn't even put the two together, but I'm actually really excited to read more from this author. I gave this a 4.5 star. The next arc I read was Best of All Worlds by Kenneth Opel. This story, I think it would probably be reminiscent of something like Under the Dome, which I'm not really familiar with just based on premise alone. Very similar to that, but it's about Xavier who is forced to go on a family weekend with his dad and stepmom, and they're going up to the cottage for the weekend. But when they wake up, the cottage has been completely moved from the lake where it normally sits to this random farm in the middle of nowhere. And as they start to explore, they realize that they are stuck inside this dome and there's no one around, but they quickly learn that they are not really alone. There is some other entity besides them. And they live like that for a few years until randomly one night another family shows up. And that's when the story really kicks off. This was very interesting. I would say until about the halfway point, I was fully dialed in. I really enjoyed it. I really wanted to know, are they going to escape this dome? Why are they in this dome? Who put them in this dome? All of that was very intriguing, and I really enjoyed the way they wrote it. I really liked Xavier's point of view. He talks about missing his mom and his brother who are still back home, wherever home is, and how he misses them. He holds on to this cell phone that he has that for some reason has power, but 3, 4 years go by and the cell phone slowly starts to lose power and he loses that connection he has to his life back home and really just starts to unravel. And I really felt that. I felt for him. It was when the other family arrived that for me, things started to unravel in this book. I think this could have easily been a 4.5 to 5 star read, but the second family that arrives They are very stereotypically Southern. They're from America, they're from down south, and they come with a lot of preconceived notions about the world and about people who maybe don't look like them. And it was just very heavy handed in the political realm of things. The father of the other family has some beliefs that are, quite frankly, appalling. And it just felt a bit heavy handed. It felt like there was a bit of a political agenda in the book. And I don't mind having a book with politics, but this is a YA book. Up until then, there had been really no inkling of politics coming into play. And then all of a sudden, at the 60% mark, almost the rest of the book is just them arguing about conspiracy theories and things of that nature. And it just felt a little too much for me personally. I think that really dragged the book down. It really slowed down the pace of the book. And I would have been fine with mentions of it, sprinkles of that, implications of that, but it just felt a bit heavy handed to me. And that really, unfortunately, dragged the book down for me because it ended in a really high point, and that sort of climax was actually pretty good. But just sort of that, like, in between 60 and 80% was just not good for me. Because of that, I rated this like maybe a 4 star. But again, I hesitate to do this a 4 star because I just did not enjoy about 20% of the book. Otherwise, it would have been really great. Next up is my book of the month. This was the most exciting read for me. It was Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I have been anticipating this book for so long, and it took me a long time to get through because I was tabbing and annotating. I am very new to tabbing and annotating. Writing in a book for me, not easy. And I will tell you, it took something out of me to write in my book. But once I got into tabbing and annotating, I actually started to really enjoy it. As you can see, I tabbed a lot. Each of the tab colors has a meaning. I'll just quickly read it to you. Yellow, anything about Haymitch. The light yellow is world building stuff, so anything that describes the world, details that I might have to remember, the Hunger Games arena, etc., etc. I have a light purple for quotes, mid color yellow for anything that links back to any of the other books in the series, and then the dark bluish purple is just memorable moments that I will want to come back and reflect on. A lot of tags, as you could see, but I had such a good time reading this. I think Suzanne Collins is an absolute genius. She has said it before, she only writes when she has something to say, and boy, does she have a lot to say in this book. This book was absolutely beautiful, absolutely heartbreaking in every way, because we have already seen Haymitch's future. This is obviously a prequel. We know that his life is going to be a series of heartbreaks again and again and again and again and again. As while he eventually does escape Snow's tyranny, it takes so long to get there, and he goes through a lot before he gets there. And so that is really heartbreaking. We also see a lot more background for other characters that we come to know and love in Catching Fire and Mockingjay. BT is pretty heavily featured in this, as well as Wyrus. Even Mags is heavily featured in this. And so seeing those other characters for me was really exciting. We also saw Effie Trinket, which was exciting, as well as Snow, who, people kind of forgot how evil he was after, A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. He's kind of hot, but this reminds you very clearly and very starkly of how evil he actually is, which I thought was very interesting. So this for me is obviously a 5-star read, a 6-star if you would. I loved this. I had so much fun reading it. I'm so glad that I decided to tab it. That was such a fun experience to really dig into it in a way that I don't usually dig into books. I loved it, and I had such a good time reading it. I'm so glad I finally got to it. Then I listened to an audiobook arc of Big Dumb Eyes by Nate Bargatze. Nate Bargatze is a comedian that in this house we really love. He's actually my mother-in-law's favorite comedian, and I just think he's a silly guy. He's a funny guy. I saw the audiobook arc, I requested it, and Hatchet Audio graciously allowed me to read it via NetGalley. This was really fun. It was really fun. I like listening to memoirs in the voice of the narrator, of the person who's writing it. And Nate did such a good job narrating his own audiobook. I think what was great about it is that the audiobook was really catered to listeners, and hearing his stories and his tone of voice is a very specific tone of voice. He has a bit of a southern twang. And I think it's just, there's so much more potent hearing his anecdotes and stuff coming from his mouth. And I found it funny. I had a few moments where I was kind of giggling out loud. Definitely worth a read. It's a very quick and easy read. I listened to this in pretty much one sitting, and I just had a good time. You know, I think it's the best celebrity memoir I've ever read. There was nothing hard hitting in here. It was very silly. It was just a very fun time. If you're looking for some kind of slump buster that you don't really have to think too heavily about, this is a good one to go to. This is like a 4-star. No complaints, but nothing that I'm going to rave about. And then the last book that I read this month was I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. I did, again, tab and annotate this. It might become a new habit. I'm kind of obsessed with doing it. I only did 2 tabs for this one. I have the red one for quotes and the black one for memorable moments, things that we'll want to come back to. This was weird, and I was going into this expecting it to be weird because I read Foe by Ian Reid a while ago. I loved it, but it was incredibly disturbing and weird. This is way more disturbing than Foe. This gave you the sense of unease from the very first page, but it just gets weirder and weirder, and you start to realize what's happening. I mean, I did pretty early on in the book, but as things unravel, it just becomes completely unhinged. This is about a woman who is on a road trip with her boyfriend, and she's thinking of ending things. Now, that is sort of left very open-ended. You're not sure if she means her life, the relationship with Jake. You don't really know entirely for most of the course of this book, but she wants to end things. She doesn't know how to tell Jake. And Jake seems pretty much oblivious to the fact that she is so deeply unhappy. And they go to visit his parents. It's a very disturbing and odd visit with his parents, and everything just starts to unravel after that. Yeah, I don't want to say much more. This is weird, and I loved it. I would say this is like a 4.5 to 5-star read. It was so weird. It was so unsettling. I loved it. I couldn't get it. I couldn't stop reading. I couldn't put this book down. And I just thought it was so good. And that's it. That's everything I read in April. I think I had a really good reading month. I only read 8 books. I started a couple other ones that I didn't actually finish, so they'll go into my May recap. One of them being First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. So good. I'm loving this so far. But I only finished 8 books, plus all of my novellas. I still feel like I accomplished a lot, and I'm really, really happy with reading month for April. I'm really glad that I got to read a bunch of arcs. And yeah, I just feel good about it overall. I am looking forward to May. I'm really excited about my May Hopefuls video because it's going to be a little bit different. And I am almost finished my 100 novellas in 100 days challenge over on TikTok. So we're about to start something new, and that is also exciting. So that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and give it a like and maybe subscribe, and we can sort of grow together on this bookish journey. And I will see you in the next one.